This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. There's a word that a lot of people are saying lately, and that word is intention or being intentional. Now, take that word and connect that to success, intentionally succeeding. This gentleman has created an organization and also a system to help get that done. He's got 35 years of experience in training, coaching, organizational development. He has empowered countless numbers of people to help them move their lives forward using what he likes to call his success system. We're digging into that today with intentional achievements. And he is Joe Price back on the program. How's it going, Joe?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on again, Steve.
I love what you do, love what you stand for. I'm going to say it, your website is fantastic in terms of inspiring and explaining how this all works, this intentional success system. We kind of dug into, and it's 9 different components of that system, right?
Correct.
Yeah, we started with that last time. Got into a few of them. Can we recap and then maybe today get through all 9 of them? And you also have something that you're rolling out. You're dropping something pretty major that is in the reach of everybody to help change their lives, which we're going to get to in a sec. Can we look at the systems?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. The intentional success system was built over probably an 8 to 10 year period of time. And it consists of 3 buckets, I would say, or 3 categories in which our principles are housed. The first category are the things that we need to know in order to be more successful and be more intentional. And those things are our purpose, our reason for doing the things that we do, the values that help us make our decisions on a day by day basis, and a clear picture of where we're going. Everybody calls a vision, right? A clear vision of a future state. So those are the things that we need to know more in order to be more intentional. Now, just because we know those things doesn't mean that we're actually going to implement them and become more intentional all of a sudden, right? Because we're hardwired as human beings to react to life. According to studies, we make about 35,000 decisions a week. And if just 2% of those decisions were more intentional, the study shows we would have a 95% more positive impact on our lives, right? So
35,000, Joe?
35,000 from major decisions to small ones like what are we going to have for lunch today, right? But just think about it for a second. If we were more intentional with only 2% more of our decisions, our life would be 95% more fulfilling, more successful, more harmonious, and all the things that we talk about when we talk about intentionality.
Wow, that is huge. And I can believe it because if you take a plane, let's airliner, and it just makes 1 degree course change, 1 degree over the flight, it's going to land in a different country potentially. And that's just
Well,
one degree.
it really is true. The interesting thing is, I was reading something yesterday, and we actually put it in some of our material. If you took a flight from LA to New York and you were 1 degree off, you would land in Delaware.
Wow. Yeah. So now we take a look at the 35,000 decisions. And if you were a
Right.
little more intentional about some of
Well,
them,
here's the interesting part about it. Do you know what percentage that flight is off course between the time it takes off and the time it lands?
on a regular basis, we're talking here?
Yeah,
No idea.
95%
Off course.
off course.
So there's course corrections for that entire flight from yeah, LA to New York.
Absolutely correct.
That's an eye opener because we would think with technology and everything that they're on track. But then again, now that I think of this a little bit deeper, like life, things change. The winds
Right.
change. We had to get a
Exactly.
little off course because there was a storm coming. Hey, there's another plane, over that side. We got to go 4 degrees this way, but we're going to come back 5 degrees this way.
Correct.
Never thought of that. Wow.
Now, what's the life application of that? Out of the 35,000 decisions that you and I make every week, how many of those decisions get us slightly off course from where we want to go? Even if we have a clear purpose and vision, life changes, currents, winds, reactionary decisions, default decisions, other people's decisions influencing our life always takes us off course. Now, think about it. If we didn't have a vision and weren't intentional about where we wanted to go, then our life would wind up by default wherever life takes us.
Hmm. Of the 35,000 decisions that we make, are many of those made using false information? What do I mean by that? Stuff that we believe, stuff that we accumulated in our subconscious from our childhood.
Correct.
We're making these decisions based on false assumptions or the monkey chatter and all of that. So a lot of these decisions we're making, we're kind of wasting our time. We're not even they're not even in alignment with whatever our goal is.
It really is the truth. And we call that external noise, right?
Mm.
So there's a lot of information flowing at us from all different directions, places that we trust, places that we don't trust. Sometimes we don't even realize the information that's influencing us that comes in unconsciously,
Yeah.
right? And so, how do we get through all of that noise and make sure that we're heading in the right direction? And it's a very simple decision. Sometimes not easy, but it is simple, and that is be more intentional and use the principles of the intentional success system.
So those three pillars, we might call them. The first one is know it. So we have to
Correct.
know what our purpose is, why are we doing what we're doing, why
Right.
are we even fixed on that goal, whatever that may
Correct.
be. What would the next one be?
The next one would be planning, or what we call planet. And so, if we have a vision where we want to go, are we going to let the winds of life just direct us wherever we're going to go toward that vision? Or if we're a sailor, if we're a captain of sail ship, we're going to put the rudder in the water and steer to the direction that we want to go, right? But we have to have a plan, a map from where we're going to where we are to where we're going in order to be able to follow that map and be able to steer us in the right direction. And once we have a plan, all plans don't work out the way that we want them to. But sometimes our life is not structured in such a way that allows us to implement our plan. We're using our time ineffectively. We have not harmonized all 9 areas of our life and where we're spending our time and where we're putting our efforts. And so we have
Mm.
to put some sort of structure together to allow us to implement the plan heading to where we're going to go. The third component or third principle in that section is we can't and shouldn't do it alone. And so having the right people in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason, helps us put a team together to help us get from where we are to where we're going. That's the planet section.
Would you say that within the planet, we need to identify those things that may be derailing us, or I like to say stealing our power? And that could be people in your life that don't really support you, but you're still riding along next to them, but they're taken from you, and you probably
Absolutely right.
know it. You just don't want to admit it, or it could be even a situation. where it's kind of taken away a lot, so you can't effectively plan, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And part of that is restructuring our life so situations don't control us, we control the situation. But part of that, having the right people in the right place, one is identifying the people that we don't have that we need to help
Mm.
us get where we want to go. But the second part is identifying the people that are holding us back or hindering our progress forward, right?
Ooh, finding the people that we need. Let's go there.
Okay.
What's your suggestion? Let's say you've got some ideas. Maybe you want to grow your business in a certain direction, right? It's all there. Where do you, how do we find these people? Is it reaching out and reconnecting or connecting on LinkedIn? What would you suggest?
Well, let's back out and zoom out a little bit
Sure.
as to there is a process, not necessarily as far as social media or tools, but there's a process of thinking about how first to identify the kind of people that we need to help us move forward. So we have a chart in one of our programs that help us identify that in a process. Number one, identify a goal that you have of where you want to go. Two, list the resources that you need in order to help you reach that goal. Three, identify a category of people who have those resources or have access to those resources. And four, develop a plan of how you're going to contact those people and let them know that they are part of a process that you're putting together for your life in order to make it more intentional. You've identified them as having the resources necessary to help you get forward. Would they be interested in becoming part of your team?
Hmm. That takes a lot of courage.
I'll give you an example. So we had a woman in our intentional life program a few years ago who, as we were talking about this, said, "You know what? I've gone through every area of my life and I've identified a coach that I would need to help me get progressively better in that particular area. So I have a health coach, and I have a personal coach, and I have a spiritual coach." And she went through a lot of the areas of her life, and then she said, "You know what? I've been having financial problems my whole life, and that's the only area of my life I don't have a coach in."
Wow.
She
So did she
found
engage
that
one?
coach, and in 2 years, her finances were back to where she originally wanted them to be.
I give her a lot of credit for being able to identify that situation and then doing something about it.
It's part of the whole intentional thinking that we help people go through.
Hmm. So know it, plan it. What comes
Plan it
next?
and then be it. So knowing and planning are all mental processes that are extremely important, but they can be mental games that hold people back from actually being and doing what they need to be and do in order to become more intentional and more successful. So the three principles in Be It are leadership, emotional intelligence,
Hmm.
and courage and fortitude. So leadership. So first we have to lead our own lives before we can demonstrate leadership in our relationships with other people, right? If we're not executing leadership in our own life, how can we demonstrate that leadership toward others, right? And there are so many components about leadership. And we have a 12-week program called The Intentional Leader, right? In which we help people develop those leadership skills. But if you took all of the writings about what leadership is, all of those skills and talents and gifts and thought processes can be narrowed down to three buckets: inspiration, communication, and human relations. How we inspire ourselves to get to where we want to go, and then how do we inspire others? how do we communicate effectively in order to clearly and concisely get our message across, both to ourselves and others? And then three, how do we create relationships with people that draw people in to our team or our circle that then becomes that group of people helping us get from where we are to where we want to go, right? So that's the leadership side. And now the emotional intelligence side. Since 1986 or so, Daniel Goleman and a variety of other writers have been writing about emotional intelligence. But that subject can be traced all the way back to 1929. And the question is, what really is emotional intelligence? And our definition of that is the intentional and intellectual ability to use your emotions in making proper decisions. And
Mm.
according to studies, just that principle alone can contribute 76% to your overall success.
Let's go back on that one more time. Your emotions, how your emotions or how you use your emotions to make decisions
Correct.
attribute or connect with 76% of,
Your overall success. So
wow.
it's not your IQ, it's not your leadership ability, it's not your technical skills, it's not your appearance. It is your ability to control your emotions and then use them intelligently and intentionally in making decisions that will help you move forward.
Wow. That's huge.
It
That's
really is because 95, according to studies, we react emotionally to situations that happen to us 90 to 95% of the time. And those
wow.
emotional reactions, by definition, are out of control, right? We're giving control over to somebody else. If you're a customer service rep, for example, and I call you and start yelling at you because my cable bill is 3 times more this month than it was last month, and you react to me yelling at you, we're now creating this chain reaction where you can't help me at all, right? And
Yep.
I'm in control of the way that you handle my situation.
Um, I remember those stats because that is so huge, but I shouldn't be surprised. Emotions are everything. We let our emotions get the best of us. Where within Know It Be It Planet is getting a grip on your emotions or the emotional intelligence? Would that be it?
Well, and let me explain that to every structure, there is a foundation, right? So if you're building a house, you need a concrete foundation and then you need 6 to 8 layers underneath of padded earth, right? So that that foundation doesn't move and start to crack. But that foundation, the solidity and the integrity of that foundation determines how safe that structure that you're building on the foundation actually is. And the intentional success system is no different. So we have 4 foundational principles that are the foundational layer on which the intentional success system is built. The first foundation is our change formula, and it says predictable process produces predictable result. And we normally react to change by default, but if we were more intentional about it and we used our change formula, that predictable process, we can intentionally make the change work for us instead of happening to us. So that's the
Hmm.
first thing. That's the first foundational principle. The second foundational principle is the change formula helps us make an immediate change, but that doesn't help us make long-term permanent habits. And then we have our second foundational principle, which is our cycle of mastery, which helps us take our initial change and create it into an intentional habit. The third one is the answer to your question, which is our reaction response model, which says that reactions are out of control. And if we learn how to control those reactions, we would respond in that situation instead of reacting and make a 90 to 95% change in the outcome of the decision that we make or what we've communicated in that situation. And then the fourth foundational principle is our comfort zone. And how many times do we hesitate or stop doing certain things because it's outside of our comfort zone? We're uncomfortable. We're afraid of the unknown, and so we don't step in with the courage and fortitude that we need, which is our ninth principle, in order to be able to make that intentional decision.
I know there are a lot of different working parts here, but they're all very easy to understand and very relatable.
Yes.
It's not like there's some kind of like secret woo stuff going on that needs major explanation. Right people, right place. Says it all right there
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
as part of this, the whole picture. I don't want to run out of time, so I want to jump right into this new thing that you're rolling out in terms of membership. Tell us.
Yeah. So one of our visions, or one of the components of our vision, that millions are living more intentionally. And how do we do that? How do we get the word out to the majority of people in the world that these principles can actually change their life? And so we've established a three-tier membership program that we're soft launching next week. And our first tier is a free tier that people can join for free, no credit card or anything like that. They're going to get 26 universal principles on which the intentional success system is built, drip to them every 2 weeks. And then they'll be able to communicate with us about how they're applying those principles and what difference that it's making in their life. And as a result of people joining that community, what we're looking to do is to create and raise up local communities in major cities all over the world of people who have joined that membership and want to interact with each other, right people in the right place, building team in order to help them implement those principles into their lives more effectively and more harmoniously.
Wow. So that first call it tier of membership completely free.
Completely free.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah, and you said something about people sharing feedback on how it impacts their lives. How do they do
Right.
that?
Yeah, so coming soon, we're going to create a membership forum on which they can go onto the member area of our website and be able to share some of the insights, ask questions, get some feedback from some of our master coaches. It's really going to be a very highly interactive community that people can grow in. And if people are interested in the soft launch and want to get involved in it just to see what that free tier is, they can go to the contact us page on our website, and there's a button there for a link to my WhatsApp. And they can send me a message on WhatsApp, and I will send them the link to sign up for free.
Very cool. Um, Thank you for creating this. It seems like its time has come. Like we've been waiting for this to arrive. And there's lots of different programs out there, coaching, all of that. But this, it's clear. It's easy to understand and easy to apply. As we're talking, I'm seeing flashes in my mind of how I apply it.
Right.
Right down to know it, be it, plan it, and right people, right place. That's been on my radar. Um, Maybe eliminating some things that don't support, i.e., some people. Yeah, we all,
Sure.
sometimes we need to. Life changes, and maybe people don't change along with you. Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah.
But this is in our face. This is in the forefront to move your life forward in any direction you want to. Intentionalachievements.com is the website.
Correct.
Good stuff. Joe, thank you very much for all the insight today. Really, really appreciate it. Very easy to understand. There's even on your website on one of the, and I believe it's the the system page, you can click the tab. It's got
Correct.
it right there.
Exactly.
It's almost like your roadmap.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And the cool thing about the principles, they're practical,
Yes.
and all the components of the system interact, interrelate, and are interconnected with each other. And they're interdependent, which means you need all of them. There are some people out there just teaching vision or
Yes.
just teaching purpose
Yep.
or just teaching team. But this system is interdependent on all 9 areas and the foundation in order to make it work.
I have to believe that some of us are doing some of these things, or maybe all of them. However, are we doing them right?
Good for you.
Yeah,
That's true.
and where is our intention going? Maybe it's in the wrong place. Intentionalachievements.com. Thanks for today, Joe. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.